Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 6 of my statistics tutorial series. In this part of the tutorial, I am going to actually walk you through an example where we will perform some hypothesis testing, and I'm also going to talk about p-values. Okay, so the goal here is to find out if our null hypothesis mean is going to fall within our sample mean interval. Now, the null hypothesis that we will be testing is that a manufacturer says their brake pads are expected to last for 64,000 kilometers. As you can see here, I gathered some sample data, and you may notice that none of this sample data comes out to 64,000 kilometers, but I just want to see how close we get based off of just these random data that I went and generated. So the very first thing we're going to need to do, and we've done this so many times, so I know you know how to do it, we are going to calculate our sample mean, which comes out to 60,000. Then, based off of, once again, our sample data, we're going to calculate our standard deviation, which comes out to 1988. Our sample size, as you saw, is going to be taken from 20 samples. And then we're going to calculate our sample error just by taking the standard deviation and dividing it by the square root of the number of samples. And that comes out to 444.5. Now, before we can perform our calculations, we need to standardize our means so that we can compare them, even though they have different standard deviations, which we are certain that is something that's going to be true. And we're going to be able to standardize our variable by subtracting the mean and then by dividing by the standard deviation, something we've done in the past, but something I wanted to review. And whenever we do this, we normalize our data. And what that specifically means is that we get a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. And how we're going to get this z-score is we'll go and get our sample mean minus our null hypothesis mean and divide that by our sample error. And then after we do that, we're going to have to come in and get the absolute value of that score, which works out to 8.99. Now what I want to do is jump over, write some of the code, then we'll come back to do a couple more slides and then write some more code. Alright, so I imported our statistics module that we have been creating since we started this tutorial. And I know that our population mean is going to be equal to 64,000. You can go and play around what happens whenever you change these numbers. That's always something that's great to do. I am then going to come in and get all the calculations that we previously covered. So I want to get our sample mean, and I just go and call our stats module and pass in our brake pad kilometer list. I am also going to come in and get my sample standard deviation. And let's come in and set that up so we only have 2 decimal places just to keep that nice and simple. And we'll go stats once again and standard deviation, and again pass in our brake pad data. Whoops, I don't need all those in there. Get rid of that. And there we go. And brake pad list. I'm also going to do the same thing for our sample error. So I'm going to copy this, paste this inside of there, and I'll call this sample error. And to get that, get rid of standard deviation inside of here and instead call sample error. And then we can go and print out this information because I think it would be interesting to see it. So let's go and print out our mean and just call our sample mean. And then we're going to do this for our other data as well before we make any further calculations. So we also want to print out our standard deviation, and that is sample standard deviation. And let's go and get our sample size as well. So sample size, and I didn't calculate that, so just come in here and go length, and then our brake pad kilometer list, and print out our sample error like that, and that will be sample error. Now I'm going to go and calculate that z-score that you saw us calculate before. And so z-score is going to be equal to, and to get it, we go and get our sample mean and subtract from it our population mean. Then we're going to have to convert our sample error into a float. So sample error. And then we can go and print out the z-score. So we'll go z-score and z-score. And if we run it, you can see we got all of the values exactly as we expected, and we see that this is 8.99. I could go and get the absolute value, but I didn't, and there you are. Now, when going and making these calculations, if my confidence is 0.95, then that means my alpha is going to be 0.05. And since we are using a two-sided test, that would be alpha divided by 2, which would give me a value of 0.025. And then if we subtract 0.025 from 1, we would get a value of 0.9750. If we look up 0.9750 on our z-table, we find that we get a z-score of 1.96. You see here, 1.9, come over here, and there is 0.6. And then what we do is we compare the absolute value of our z-score we calculated previously, which is 8.99, to our critical value, which is 1.96. And in all situations in which the value is greater than the critical value, which 8.99 is most definitely greater than 1.96, that tells us that we can reject the null hypothesis. And to be more specific, we are basically saying at a 0.95 confidence level, we reject that brake pads have an average life cycle of 64,000 kilometers. Now, this brings us to our p-value. The p-value is going to be the smallest level of significance at which we can reject the null hypothesis. In our example, we found a z-score of 8.99, which isn't even on our chart. So let's say instead that the null hypothesis was that the brake pads would last for 61,750 kilometers. That would mean the hypothesis would be correct at 1 minus 0.99996, or 0.0004 in regards to significance. So here, the p-value for a one-sided test is going to be 0.00004. And for a two-sided test, we multiply that 0.00004 by 2, and you would get 0.00008. So still almost impossible to believe the null hypothesis, but it is within the realm of possibility if you take out the confidence level out to the very extremes. So we can go and we can play around with changing the population mean until we get to a point in which the probability goes up. So let's do that. I'm going to go and get our population mean, bring it down here, paste it in there, and we can say 6,107 or 61,750. And we can go and get our z-score now, which is just this guy right here. Paste that inside of there. We don't need to change anything else because all we did was change our population mean. And we can save that. And then we can come in. Let's just throw another print statement in here just to be really quick to have some space. And you can see that the value dropped down to 3.93. And we could also see a more logical population mean. Well, the closer we get to 6,000, let's just throw 60,000 in here. And what are you going to see? See if you can take a guess what this is going to come back as. 0. So you can see that they perfectly match in that situation. And that would be an example of a perfect match. And you can see as we go and play around with these values, how the confidence changes and so forth and so on. So there you go. There is an example of doing mean testing, as well as some examples in regards to how p-values play into the equation. And that is it for now. Like always, all the code is available in the resources directory. And like always, please leave your questions and comments down below. Otherwise, till next time.